Welcome to Behind the Case podcast, a podcast that focuses on navigating the challenges our clients face with divorce and family law in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Behind the Case is brought to you by the Turner Monahan legal team. With over 70 years of collective experience in divorce and family law. Together, Tyler Monahan, Keaton Monahan, Tina Campbell, and the Turner Monahan team will discuss real-life cases, answer questions, and explore family law areas from divorce to child custody. Our goal is to clarify scenarios and demystify legal jargon, making the process less daunting and reminding you that you're not alone. So sit back and let's discuss what happens behind the case.
You're seeing the postings that, are backhanded, vindictive, asking for prayers. So can your text and post actually be used in the family court now?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And it is prevalent. I cannot think of a case in the last 10 years where text messages, screenshots, Facebook, other messages, tweets, things like that have not come into play. They are almost universal because everybody's so attached to social media, and a good portion of people live and die by social media. And so they feel obligated to say everything. And we strongly encourage our clients to just stop, refrain completely. I mean, you can still keep your accounts, you can still post, but you need to not address anything that has to do with your case. And most importantly, if you're in the middle of a divorce action, even if you've been separated for a decade, do not post pictures of yourself with a new significant other because you're still married, and that makes a difference. In some of our courts, a dramatic difference. Some of our courts don't really care so much anymore, but you never know, and there is no point taking that risk.
I agree. And a lot of times we see too, they're bantering back and forth on the Facebook page, and they'll be in the comments. Their friends or mutual friends will comment, and those come in as evidence. I mean, they're on your Facebook page, and that is what you believe to be true, and you haven't deleted them. And if they're bashing the other parent, that doesn't make you look better. So see a lot of that. A lot of the prayers for asking for prayers for me because I'm going to court today, that does not help you in court. I, in fact, will just tell the court, oh, great. Now you're just putting it out there for everyone, and everybody's kids now have access to social media. So the children, even young children, are seeing posts that their parents are saying about the other parent. That is the worst thing you can do, to say anything negative about the other parent where the child could hear it, period, but especially putting it out there in the internet where they can see it forever. That's definitely going to hurt your custody case.
So we definitely shouldn't be posting these kind of things on social media. But what is the impact? So what have you seen kind of in the courtroom when something like the prayers come up, or the vindictive posts, or just, the bashing each other? In the comments that you mentioned, I think we forget that we may not have posted it, but then we start fighting in the comments. So how does that actually impact your case? Have you seen it impact, and what were those effects?
Well, I mean, it certainly gives the judge an opportunity to draw a conclusion about what kind of co-parent you might be in the future, depending on what it is that you're posting. And particularly when you're posting something when you're in active litigation. So you're under scrutiny, but you're still choosing to say these things and behave these ways in a public forum. That will give the judge great pause. In other types of cases, you're posting pictures about how you went on an elaborate vacation or how you went on a cruise, but yet you've got a pending motion for enforcement because you didn't pay your child support in the same month that you went on a Caribbean cruise. Even if you testify in court that your girlfriend paid for it, or you won a free trip or whatever, it looks terrible and shows the court that there's something else going on. And it can be something as innocuous as you post a picture of a family out at dinner in a restaurant. Well, if you have an injunction in your temporary orders or someplace else that says no consumption of alcohol while you have the children present, and there happens to be a margarita glass sitting on the table and your kids sitting at the table, that gives pause to, are they violating the injunction? Now, the argument's always going to be somebody else was drinking the margarita, but why even get to the point of having to defend yourself on something so simple? So it's all the details, all the background, all the extra stuff that's important that you have to think about from a strategic perspective when you're in the middle of litigation of any kind.
Right. Because perception is everything. And so what, the poster is doing is letting their light out on social media, whether it's to, they think that they're showing off or they're putting on a good face and showing how loving it is going out with a family for dinner, thinking it's positive, but they're still trying to show us perspective. Well, there's perspective from the viewer can be a lot of different things. I mean, if you're the court, if you're the other opposing attorney, if you're the opposing party, I mean, the perception is that of whoever is viewing it. And it is not always seen positively, even if your intention is completely innocent to post a picture of you out with celebrating your kid's birthday at Chili's and someone does have a margarita at the table. Just know your rules, know what your orders say, and follow them. I mean, it's best to just take what do they call it on social media? You take a social media break? No, take a break. Yes, just get off of social media while you have any kind of litigation pending. And if you anticipate filing for divorce, so you anticipate modify your current custody order, just take a pause right then. Like, go ahead and anticipate that everything you say and post will be used against you. That way you're not tempted, you don't get on there, because that's a safer way to proceed, truly.
Kind of a question would come up then. What happens if they delete a post?
Bad plan, because that is considered destroying evidence and altering evidence. So you can't just start a lawsuit or be involved in a lawsuit and go, oh, there was some shady things that I did or said a while back. I'm just going to delete my Facebook account. No, that's almost even worse because you've then kind of given the judge the evidence that they need to know that you did something inappropriate. At that point, it is better just to go, look, that was something I did in the past. I've learned from my mistakes. I've been educated on what I should or shouldn't do moving forward. And then continue to keep your account and show the court that it can behave on social media moving forward. Do not delete your accounts. Do not remove your posts because it can be an even worse effect on your case.
Once the litigation has started, especially.
Yes.
Can private messages be subpoenaed?
Yes, they can. Yes, just like text messages can be subpoenaed. The text messages, usually the clients provide those pretty freely. So yes, they can be.
Yeah, there is nothing technically private about anything called private.
That's simple.
Just understand, anytime you post anything, even if you think it's going to be automatically deleted, even if you think that there's a timeline.
Oh, like Snapchat. It can be recovered. Everything on the internet is permanent.
Yeah. And so you just need to know that if, like Heather said, if you're thinking you're going to be getting into litigation or you're currently in litigation, you really do have to stop and think that there are people, and especially once attorneys get involved and our staffs and everything else, we look for these things. We actively look. And many firms, including ours, have people who are very well skilled on figuring out these things and taking time and connecting this person to that person to this person to find this random post about the girlfriend from wherever. So just don't. It's so much easier to just not.
Yeah. Do the posts I make after the divorce decree is finalized, can they be brought back up?
Let's take a quick pause here. If you or someone you know is navigating divorce or family law matters in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, reach out to Turner Monahan for a free legal consultation. Call us at 817-332-4477 or visit us at tumolaw.com. That's TUMOLAW.com for a free legal consultation. Now, let's get back to behind the case.
Absolutely, because if the divorce included children, especially young children, the likelihood of that decree being modified in the future is extremely high. So anything that is after the date of the entry of that decree, any evidence going forward can be used in modification in the future.
Yeah. So don't enter your divorce decree and then do these like long ranty posts about how you screw them over. You got everything, blah, 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 and what a horrible parent they are. And they don't even get to see their kids on the weekends. Any of that, because the moment a modification is filed, every one of those messages is going to be used to show that you had ulterior motives.
Is parent shaming online a legal issue? Is it like a legal term even?
I don't know that I've ever heard a court use the term specifically legal shaming. I mean, it's not crime by any means, and for it to be like parental shaming or anything like that. But as far as the concept will harm you in court. And frankly, ultimately, if you do have children and you're getting divorced, theoretically, the goal is co-parenting. The goal is to raise your children in a way that it doesn't fracture them any more than is necessary. And if you're publicly shaming the other parent, you have to understand that when the child gets old enough or has the ability to see those posts, they're going to feel like they too have been shamed because they're part of that parent.
Right.
So you may think that you're, stabbing the knife into your ex, but what you're really doing is harming your kids. So think very long and hard before you make those kinds of posts.
You mentioned earlier, kind of like if you're dating someone new, don't post about it. But how can online dating and new relationships complicate the legal process?
Well, I mean, for one, if it's a divorce, it's going to complicate it extremely. I mean, you're already dating and you haven't, especially if you have children, you haven't even let your children grieve the divorce. A lot of times we hear that parties say, well, we've been not good together for years, so it's my right to be happy and to move on. And because we do tell a lot of clients that if the affair is not, you're not wasting community assets, you're not bringing them around the children, it's not going to be a really high issue at trial or in front of the court. But that doesn't mean it's not harming your kiddos, because the kids need to grieve the divorce and the parents living in separate homes, two different parenting styles, like how the routines are going to go. And when you're bringing someone else into that mix before the kids are ready, I mean, you're asking for continuous modifications to be filed, because parents are going to react more than just let things be or respond appropriately. And so you're creating a bigger monster than you are trying to fix the problem. So online dating during the legal process should also be paused.
Yeah. And also keep in mind that if you're in the middle of a divorce, even if you don't have kiddos, but there is a cause of action for adultery in divorce. And so if you're posting about how you go on vacations with the new girlfriend or boyfriend, or something new that you've purchased them, or maybe you didn't purchase them something, but you're in a new vehicle or a new boat or any of those things, that opens the door for the claim for adultery, which then gives you that person the opportunity to argue for a disproportionate share of the community estate and a waste claim, meaning you've taken our community assets, husband, and you're spending it on new girlfriend. And I think you've spent $20,000 over the new girlfriend in dinners and rings and whatevers. And so I want you to pay the community estate back for that money you spent. You're just opening the door for further litigation, more money spent on attorney's fees, extending the time it takes to finalize your divorce, all because you wanted to post a picture of you and your new pretty girlfriend on a boat. It's not worth it in the long run. Again, even if you've been separated for 10 years, it is not worth the doors that it opens that could cost you time and money.
All right. Is there anything else that a client should know that's about to go through divorce or is currently in divorce about social media and the legal process?
If your kids are on social media, you need to be monitoring that account. Depending on their ages, it may be fine as long as you're monitoring. And by monitoring, I don't mean you go check out their page every now and then. Either it's a parent account and the children have their own sub-accounts that the parent actually monitors, or you have their passwords and you're literally going in and checking every single day. Any you have to be careful because kids are kids and kids are smarter than their parents when it comes to the internet. And so these kids were raised when the internet existed. We were born and it did not exist. And we remember when it was invented. So it's a different world for these kids, and they're smarter, and they create sub accounts. They create their own, they can hide their accounts. We had cases where parents didn't even know they had social media. So, I mean, I think being really aware of what your kids are doing and being aware of what they can do. I mean, we all want to trust our kids and believe that they're telling us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth all the time. However, they are kids. So, as a parent, it is our job to monitor them forever. I mean, at least until through they're 18. So, I mean, look for your kids' social media because depending on what that post says, we could even use that. It's hearsay if it's a statement by a child. But I mean, there may be a way to get that in, and it does not look good to the parents who have not been monitoring their child's behavior.
And then again, monitor your own and make sure that you've paid attention to what's going on and how things you post could be perceived from the other side, because it will always be perceived in the most negative light possible. And if you post something that's innocuous and you had no ill intent, but yet say a bunch of your friends jump on the bandwagon because they know what's going on in your personal life, and they start down the negative path and bashing the other, you need to stop them. Because though it's their words, it will be used against you if you don't take the step to go, this is not the place, this is not the time, this is not the forum, and shut that down because you're an adult and that's your page and you're in control. So just really take a step back and think about things from a non-emotional, if I was looking at this from the outside, what would I think kind of perspective, and just be very careful about what you post.
And the best practice would be you do that all the time, not just during litigation,
Yes.
because that can prevent some litigation or minimize the harm that is caused at litigation because you have been careful about what you posted on social media.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Behind the Case. If this episode offered insight or helped clarify some aspect of divorce and family law, we encourage you to subscribe and share it with others who might benefit. For those in the DFW area that are in need of a legal consultation, you can reach us at tumolaw.com. That's TUMOLAW.com or 817-332-4477 to schedule a free legal consultation. Remember, the journey through legal matters can be complex, but you don't have to navigate it alone. Until our next discussion, take care. Please note that the information provided in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not intended as legal advice. Listening to this podcast or contacting our team does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. For advice on your specific situation, please consult with a licensed attorney in your area.